Metro is planning more rail for the South Bay, and we want to provide you with the latest information on the C Line extension to Torrance.
Like many other areas in LA County, the South Bay has an issue with traffic. Congestion is heavy on the 405 freeway and spills into the surrounding cities, clogging up arterial streets.
Metro has a plan to make it easier to get around, which includes the C Line extension project to connect the South Bay to the regional transportation network and provide another travel option for this area. This project has the potential to take cars off the road and provide better public transportation service to those who need it most.
You may remember this project as the Green Line extension to Torrance. To fit the needs of our growing system, Metro began transitioning our line designations to letters in 2019. The Green Line became the C Line, and we are using that name for this project now as well.
We're preparing the next phase of planning on this project, but before we talk about where we're going, we want to recap some history of where we've been.
Partial funding for a Metro rail extension in the South Bay was included in Measure R, which LA County voters approved in 2008.
Metro began studying routes for the project with the Harbor Subdivision Alternatives Analysis Study, which looked at a large number of routes along the 26-mile Metro-owned Harbor Subdivision Railroad that runs between downtown and the San Pedro Bay ports. This study recommended adding light rail with a phased implementation between Redondo Beach and Torrance, which was approved by the Metro Board at the end of 2009. Metro started an environmental process the following year, which included public engagement and preliminary studies. However, after Measure J, another transportation funding measure, failed to pass in 2012, the project was put on hold due to a lack of funding.
Then, in 2016, LA County voters passed Measure M, which included funding for this project. From there, we conducted outreach in communities and completed a supplemental alternative analysis in 2018. Residents in the project area told us about the importance of mitigating impacts of the project, making sure rail crossings are safe, siting stations that connect to destinations and commercial areas, and providing good wayfinding signage and directions.
Based on this input and preliminary studies, the supplemental alternatives analysis identified 4 alternatives. These were then refined to 2 light rail alternatives, which the Metro Board authorized carrying forward in September 2018.
Those alternatives are the Metro-owned right-of-way alternative and the Hawthorne Boulevard alternative. The Metro right-of-way alternative would begin at the Redondo Beach station and follow the existing railroad right-of-way for the length of the project. This alignment would include an aerial overcrossing at Manhattan Boulevard and Inglewood Avenue before transitioning to at grade from 162nd to 170th Street with a stop at the Redondo Beach Transit Center, before continuing at grade and ending at the Torrance Transit Center. The Hawthorne Boulevard alternative would also begin at the existing Redondo Beach station and leave the Metro right-of-way to parallel the I-405 freeway aerially between Inglewood Avenue and Hawthorne Boulevard. It would transition to at grade from 162nd to 166th Street as it follows Hawthorne Boulevard, stopping at the South Bay Galleria. It would transition again aerial as it moves south of 182nd Street to cross over 186th and 190th Street. This alignment would also end at the Torrance Transit Center.
We are now initiating environmental review for these 2 alternatives. Environmental review is a formal regulated process where Metro will study various aspects of each alternative, including benefits, cost, feasibility, impacts, and any necessary mitigations.
There are several points of community input during the process as Metro develops the Environmental Impact Report, which will recommend a proposed project to the Metro Board of Directors for approval.
We are now embarking on the first step of this process, which is called scoping. At this stage, we want to hear from you about what Metro should consider and study while we prepare the Environmental Impact Report for the C Line extension to Torrance.
Possible comments might include input on destinations that you think are important to serve, concerns you might have about noise, or how traffic could be affected by either alignment.
We will be conducting formal scoping meetings where we can answer your questions and hear your comments. We can also take formal comments via mail, email, our website, or over the phone during the scoping comment period. Thank you for all your input along the way that has helped to shape this project. And as always, if you have any questions, please get in touch.